Hey everyone, Gill Gross here. Post-match, Novak Djokovic versus Cameron Norrie, Wimbledon 2022 semifinal. If you're not here for spoilers, click off the video in 3, 2, 1. Novak Djokovic advances to the Wimbledon final. He will go for a fourth straight title at the All England Club and the seventh of his career. Nick Kyrgios will be his opponent after getting a walkover in the other semi. Djokovic in 4 sets over Norrie here. It was a semifinal that I thought was difficult for both men in different ways. Obviously, Djokovic at the start dropping the first set 6-2. But really, I don't think that both of them played their best tennis at the same time until Novak was already up 2-1 and a break of serve in the fourth set. At that point, the quality picked up to a point that I think both players could be proud of, and it was Novak's exceptional first serving that was his safety blanket as he protected and nurtured that one break advantage en route to winning the fourth set and ultimately the match. But this was another match that went somewhat similarly to the Jannik Sinner match in the sense that Djokovic was in a hole early. So let's just start there and get into that. It was uncharacteristically erratic first set from Novak Djokovic. You know, we talk about how when Novak is feeling nerves and pressure, he normally still makes his opponent work for it, still puts a lot of balls in the court, but he was so out of sorts in this first set that he couldn't even reach that standard. And Norrie, despite not playing an airtight first set himself, was still the far cleaner player, and Novak's unforced errors, and a lot of them coming from neutral points and not even trying to do much with the ball and still missing. That was his undoing in the first set, in addition to not really being able to get much of a read on the Cam Norrie serve, which continued for the remainder of the match. I don't think Norrie's awkward ball does any favors to his opponents in Novak's shoes. If you're not feeling your footwork and you're not timing the ball, it can't be any help to have the contrast that Norrie brings to the court in a backhand that is probably the flattest on tour and a forehand that's hit with a lot of loop and heavy topspin. And when you have no rhythm and have no feeling, that's not what you want. Not to mention the fact that Norrie was aggressive enough to never let Novak really play into this match or play into the first set from a rhythm standpoint. And I mentioned the first serve working quite well for Norrie in the first set. He wins at 6-2, but there's no sugarcoating it. A horrendous first set from Novak. I was quite surprised by just how wasteful he was and just how many errors he made. I should, mention there's a lot of pressure on Djokovic. The Nadal withdrawal does not help. He becomes an even bigger favorite. The expectation that he wins Wimbledon goes up even more so after being aware of Nadal's withdrawal. Heavy favorite in the semifinal. Hasn't won a major in 2022. No guarantee he's going to be able to play the U.S. Open. So, look, was I surprised that he was the tighter player given all the experience he has? Yes, but was there no possibility that it was going to be like this? Is there no explanation for why Djokovic may have come out of the gate so tight? That's not true either. There certainly is some understandable reasoning that goes with Djokovic looking so tight and nervous out of the gates in this match. But just like he was in the Sinner match, he shows an incredible amount of serenity after being down, and the unforced errors, they discontinue. They discontinue in the second set. He starts going into lockdown mode in the best way possible, the most Novak way possible in the second set, and starts to really trust his defense and to not give Cam anything easy. You could see at the start of the second set, Djokovic starts to hold serve easily. Norrie is making too many mistakes himself at this point, from winning positions, from attacking positions. His first serve, again, was the most impressive thing from Cam start to finish in this match, was his first serve. He did a phenomenal job. Djokovic could never get a read on it. But ultimately, when Novak was able to get returns in play, Norrie was not executing at a high enough rate, not enough consistency or efficiency from Cam when Novak was able to get the ball in play. And the straw that broke the camel's back was at 15-all. Norrie missed an easy volley, a 95% volley. He's got to make that 95% of the time. Misses that. Then you see Djokovic's movement and defense really bother Cam. And this happened throughout the match. Norrie's drive attacks. So when Norrie tried to hit it through Novak, past Novak, with his topspin backhand, his topspin forehand, he lacks just that 10% of firepower, that 10% of pace that other players can have, that can be the difference between finishing the point for a forced error and a winner, or not finishing the point. And Djokovic able to track the ball down and neutralize or defend and make Cam play that extra ball. So it was difficult for Cam to hit through Novak, but Cam was pushing Novak back. He was pushing Novak back in the court and making him defend. So the natural reaction there is, I'm pushing Djokovic back, but I can't hit through him, so I'm going to come to net and I'm going to drop shot. I'm going to attack the forecourt, both off the ground with my drop shot, or I'm going to come in and hit drop volleys. And I felt Djokovic, one of the keys to this match, he was so good at shrinking the front court and covering the drop shots and the drop volleys from Cam. And there were a lot of essential moments in this match where Norrie just didn't find the finish on the drop shot because Djokovic was able to cover it. And Norrie was not efficient at the net because Djokovic was covering his volleys and coming up with passing shots and forcing volley errors. And again, the movement for Djokovic, it was really bothering Cam. He just wasn't quite good enough from finishing positions. Not only sometimes opening, not finishing Djokovic and Novak tracking down balls, but also making unforced errors. Overhitting from offensive positions. You saw a lot of balls go long, especially on the backhand side. And then making some egregious unforced errors at net, overheads, etc. Really feeling the pressure from Novak's defense. Djokovic also dialed it in on first serve. It was another dominant performance where Djokovic's spot serving was rather immaculate. The free points were absent in the first set. They really started to build from that point on. And Djokovic found his forehand, especially his forehand down the line. He found a great pattern on his forehand down the line. I don't think he feels that Norrie's cross-court backhand is heavy enough. And Djokovic, which is the pattern he started to really exploit when they played at the year-end championships. And I didn't talk about it in my preview, and I probably should have, but Djokovic changing direction down the line on his forehand started to become a safety blanket, just automatic offense for Novak. He would often hit it as an approach shot, but in general, it's let's get to Cam's backhand, let's wait for that cross court, and then let's move inside the court, cut off the angle, change down the line, and approach. And the way Djokovic was hitting his forehand down the line in the second, third, and fourth sets, that was a huge pattern for him that was very, very successful. And the volleys were really good from Novak. The serve +1 game, the serve +1 transition game was very, very strong. So when it came to protecting the serve, it started to look very routine and very dominant for Novak. The only part of the game that Novak wasn't dominating after the first set was, again, Norrie's first serve. Novak could never really read it, never get a read on it. But let's talk about Cam's mindset in this match and Cam's performance. It wasn't what I thought it would be. It was very aggressive, very, very aggressive. He did not hold back at any point. He wanted to win on his own terms. He was going after the ball. He was changing direction. He was coming forward. He was looking to crack Novak's defense, and there was zero desire for him to try to make the match physical, to try to draw out rallies, to try to ask Novak questions in terms of cardio and shot tolerance. There was no attempt from Cam Norrie to try to win the match that way. Obviously, if you watched my preview, you know that that's not how I thought Cam needed to play it. And look, I think Cam's a really smart player. I love his coach, Facu Lagones. He has been such a talent maximizer, and he's had so much success in his career, so much more success that I think anybody could have expected him to, that it's very difficult to criticize his game plan at any point. It's very difficult to say that he should have done something differently. But I have to say, I just didn't quite understand it. I didn't get the idea that Cam, in order to win this match, needed to somehow play ultra aggressive serve +1 tennis, because he's going to get outgunned in that kind of match against Novak. There's no way that he's going to be able to play that game, which is not really his game, effectively and efficiently enough to beat a player who is the best in the world, especially on grass, at defending and counterattacking, and he is the most difficult player to hit through in the world on grass. And Norrie just seemed desperate to try to do it, and instead of doing it with success, although he did a little bit towards the end of the fourth set, he was just making unforced errors instead. And I felt in order to play cleaner, he would have needed to dial back the aggression. And I kind of wish he tried to do that at some point in this match to see what would happen. I mentioned Norrie getting dominated in the deuce side exchanges. Norrie's backhand to Djokovic's forehand, Djokovic changing down the line. Well, if you're Cam, why not look to extend rallies in the ad side cross-court rally? Norrie's forehand to Djokovic's backhand, that's a cross court that I felt Norrie could have tried to lean on and be patient in and extend rallies in and start to work on Djokovic's shot tolerance, make him hit backhand after backhand after backhand, make Djokovic try to pull trigger on the drop shot, pull trigger down the line, and see if you can be the more solid and consistent player and try to get into Novak's legs. I thought that's the way I would have played it if I were Cam. Now, maybe that would have been even worse. Maybe Novak would have won 1-1. We don't know, but Cam didn't try that. He just did not go for that. There were also a lot of occasions on the +1 ball where I thought Novak hit good returns, hard returns, lots of pace on them, and instead of Cam accepting that neutrality, accepting, okay, good return, Novak, I'll go middle, I'll go cross, he goes, well, I'm going to try to time this ball into the open court and do damage off the +1. And there were so many serve plus unforced error for Norrie because he felt so desperate to be on top of the point and to do damage right away behind his serve, instead of saying, look, I have the legs, I have the consistency, I can try to win a rally against Novak. So if he hits a great return, okay, I'll play this ball up the middle. I'll play this next ball through the middle or cross court safe. Just wasn't a part of Norrie's game plan. Didn't do it. And by the way, I'm never advocating for Norrie should see a short ball and not go after it. I'm not advocating for that at all. Not even in the slightest. I'm advocating for more cross-court forehands from Norrie instead of going down the line so quickly. I'm advocating for more acceptance of Djokovic's neutralizing returns instead of going after the +1 ball so aggressively so often. And I'm advocating for a little bit more patience before you go to the approach of the net or the drop shot. Maybe just stick with it instead of being so desperate for the finish. So those are my critiques of Cam's performance. I think it comes from a mindset where I feel like he feels like, oh, I'm not as good as Novak, so I need to play out of my mind. I need to go after it and play even better than I ever have in my life. Maybe, but I'd rather see Cam actually go the other direction. I can do this. I got this. I'm going to play to my strengths. And let's see if Novak can beat Cam Norrie and the things that makes Cam Norrie great. And if he can, then maybe we'll go to plan B. And we'll try to play like Matteo Berrettini, and hit massive first ball forehands. Maybe we'll try to do that. But first, let's see if Novak can beat Cam. Let's see. I'm sure we'll see Djokovic Norrie again, and I'll be intrigued to see if he ever tries to kind of do what I think he should try to do. Amazing run from Cam. Full congratulations. I hope he doesn't get too much crap for this performance, because at the end of the day, first major semifinal, heavy underdog against Novak Djokovic, lost in 4 sets. It is what it is. I hope he doesn't get too much crap. Another really good performance from Novak after going down a set, but obviously we have not seen him and his best level tested to the extent we likely will in certain and interesting ways in the final against Nick Kyrgios. Can't wait for that one. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll have a preview coming up soon. I'll see you next time.